January 7th, 2025, Greytown Council meeting. This meeting will be held in person and online with a link provided in the agenda header. For public hearings, residents can click in to participate or call using the number provided during the public hearings as detailed in the agenda. We'll start with roll call. Ann?
Present.
Kristen?
Present.
Levi?
Present.
Michael Johnson is excused tonight. My name's Dan McGuire, and to my right is Town Manager Mike Foley. Will you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the December 17th, 2024 Town Council Executive Session and regular meeting. I think we can do them both together. I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Let's move Ann.
Second.
Krista, are there any additions or corrections?
No.
No, I had none. Is there any objection to unanimous consent?
No.
Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Moving on to council communications, a report from the council chair. Mine will be really short because I really haven't done anything since the last meeting, I will confess. I pretended I wasn't on the town council. Had a very enjoyable holiday, and that's the extent of my council chair report. So we'll move on to council correspondence and committee reports. Levi, we'll start with you.
All right, so the rec committee had a meeting last night. Here's some of the highlights of the things that they did in the last month. Held a parents' night out for parents to drop their kids off, take care of holiday needs, or just have some time themselves, and that was a really good success. Open gym and youth basketball programs have started up, and almost every bracket was filled up for youth basketball, so it's great to see that kind of participation. Indoor soccer is starting up in March. Sign-ups are open now on G&G Rec. The ice rink is starting to look pretty nice, especially with this cold spell we've been having. There were some surprises in participation of Nerf Day. It had to be canceled because there wasn't enough kids of any age group. It's probably something they're going to look at rescheduling at some point, but no concrete plans right now. They're starting a second monthly meal. That'll be January 15th, 10 a.m. at the Parish House in Gray. The tree lighting, Santa ran into a bit of a snag with some confusion about when he was supposed to arrive, but the end result, everything seemed to work out pretty well. During the meeting itself, we reviewed the committee charges and they talked about the budget preparation and how it's really attempted to simplify the budget, really the focus on four main things: staffing, childcare, programs, and supplies. And one of the things mentioned was that looking eventually at replacing those basketball hoops, since they're very old and not regulation. Scholarships, all of December's program fees typically go into the scholarship fund, and that was about $750 for the month. And the next meeting is February 3rd at 6 p.m.
Thank you very much. Krista?
So the Ordinance Advisory Committee meeting that was originally scheduled for December 30th needed to be postponed just because there were still materials that were being developed by Doug with our GIS consultant that weren't really ready to review. He's expecting to reschedule that in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Greater Portland Council of Governments was on hiatus until January. That will resume on the 21st. And the Wild Blueberry Festival Committee will also be resuming meetings next week, I believe. However, I was informed by the chair, Lacey Antonson, that 2 committee members have resigned, so there are a couple spots open, I believe, to be filled. If anyone's interested in joining that committee, I'm sure we will need some help as the festival approaches in August. That's all I had for committee reports. Are we doing correspondence?
Yes.
Yeah. Activities? Okay. I didn't have any emails to report out on, but I have been communicating with some neighbors of mine. There is, in the Maymeadow neighborhood, there used to be trail access from that neighborhood through private property that connected over to Libby Hill. There's several neighbors that have been trying to use the trails and have discovered that the private property that abuts our neighborhood is posted. It was one of the properties and trail access points that was posted about a year ago around the Crystal Lake property that was looking to be developed. So I believe the president of our HOA has been in contact with the individuals that own that property just to get some more information. And it might come up with staff at some point just because people are curious about the progress for that. So just wanted to raise that. But other than that, I have nothing else to report out on.
Great, thank you. Ann?
Yeah, so Resiliency meets next on January 27th. We're working on the next quarterly report, which is due January 15th. The new GPCOG Resilience Fellow, Audrey Piper, will start later this month. And just to be clear, this program, the Resilience Fellow program, is going to provide us, in our case, with a half-time, a 0.5 FTE staff person for all of 2025 for a really minimal investment on the part of the town. So that's a real, gift to us. And the Resiliency Chair, Committee Chair, Sandy Carter, is coordinating setting up a meeting between Gray Fire and Rescue and the Gray Water District and town staff to review the water quality problem that occurred last fall that led to a boil water order with the goal of improving planning and coordination and communication so that roles are clear and the public can be kept better informed if that happens again. Open Space meets tomorrow. CTAC, the Community Television Advisory Committee, good Lord, I couldn't think of community, meets January 22nd. We're on a quarterly schedule now. And I just wanted to report that, and I think I may have mentioned this last time, but conservation land trusts are increasingly interested in working with affordable housing developers to create permanent affordable housing on land trust owned land as part of the way that they serve their communities. And so far I've been involved with one meeting and there's another meeting planned later this month. This is something it's not really specifically related to my council responsibilities. It's connected to something else I'm doing, but it may be of interest and a value in Gray going forward, so that's why I flag that. And then for communication, I did get an email from a resident who was really interested in edible landscaping and planting fruit trees and things like that that are open to the public, and other towns have done that. It's a really interesting idea. The 2018 Bike Ped Plan envisioned edible landscaping on the village area loop trails and other trails around town. So it's certainly something we have in our plans, and it'd be fun to see that come to fruition, so to speak.
Great, thanks, Ann. I also was in on the same email regarding the possibility of planting fruit trees when we have trees to plant. I had no other new correspondence since our last meeting, and none of the committees that I am on have met since then. The next planning board meeting is this Thursday at 7 p.m., and of course the next council meeting will be on the 17th, also at 7 p.m. Moving on now to our next order of business is the report from the town manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Give me just a moment while I bring up a brief presentation, if it works. Okay, the first item I had, I wanted to re-mention again that I mentioned at our last meeting. The MSAD 15 has developed a community listserv that involves members of the public to be able to receive communication regarding the school department activities. And so they're encouraging anyone in the community who wishes to be informed about school department activities to sign up for that. They've also recently put out a call for folks to be involved in the superintendent hiring committee. They're working to convene that committee for the hiring of a new superintendent, given Dr. King's recent departure. And so I wanted to mention those two items. The other item I wanted to remind everyone about the table talk with the town manager. We had our first one this past Monday. We had a handful of folks attended. It was great to be able to have some just general, no agenda conversation with folks, with no recordings and things of that nature, to be able to just have candid conversation. Was able to talk to a few people and help address some community concerns and have some follow-up with members of the community as well. So we are doing that on the first Monday of every month from 12 to 1. Currently at Two Moms Kitchen. We'll be working to, in the future, maybe make tweaks to the schedule and or the location to try to better accommodate other folks in the community. But I want to remind everyone that they don't need to wait to communicate with me, wait for one of these events to communicate with me. I'm happy to meet with anyone at any time, any place, in order to discuss their concerns or things that ideas that they may have for the town that we can work on. And then I want to remind everyone about our new digital newsletter that we've been promoting. Our marketing or our communications IT director, Kyle Hediniak, has done a great job converting our old-fashioned PDF newsletter to a digital newsletter to be more modern. And now that we're allowed to be able to release that twice a month versus the efforts that were involved in producing such a document that we produced before. And so I want to encourage folks to get signed up for that. You can do that on our website and be informed about news about around the town. And then I wanted to take a moment to introduce our new staff accountant, Debbie Fitzpatrick, who's joining us today. I'll quickly read the announcement that we shared with the council and the community. Following an extensive search and with the unanimous selection of the interview committee, our finance director was pleased to announce last month the hiring of Deborah Fitzpatrick as Gray's new staff accountant. Debbie brings a wealth of experience and expertise to our organization with nearly 20 years of municipal finance experience, including 6 years in quality control at a CPA firm and over 6 years in banking. She has a proven track record of excellence. Her extensive background in accounting and finance, combined with her dedication to maintaining high standards, makes her a perfect fit for this role. Most recently, she served as the accounting manager for the Greater Portland Transit District, also known as Metro in Portland. In this role, she was responsible for managing general ledger administration, grant fiscal management, annual audit preparation, and payroll. She supervised the accounting assistant and payroll specialist, ensuring timely and accurate financial operations. Her responsibilities also included maintaining current knowledge of regulatory guidelines and recommending improvements to financial processes. Debbie's leadership and expertise were instrumental in enhancing the financial stability and efficiency at Metro. In her previous role, she has demonstrated exceptional skills in various capacities as the finance directors for the towns of Poland and Bucksport. She oversaw municipal finances, including cash receipts, disbursements, and investment of town funds. She prepared financial statements, managed grants and debt, and administered payroll and benefits. At RHR Smith & Company CPAs, she served as the quality control manager, supervising staff, reviewing work papers and financial statements, ensuring compliance with professional standards. And additionally, she has held significant positions at Bangor Savings Bank, where she coordinated asset liability modeling and assisted with budget forecasting and financial reporting. In her new role as staff accountant, Debbie will be responsible for creating and maintaining records of all journal entry transactions for receivables, payables, payroll, and adjusting journal entries. She will prepare and present regular financial reports and summaries, ensure compliance with local, state, and federal regulations, and perform reconciliation of bank statements and regulatory review accounts to resolve discrepancies. She will also assist in preparation of financial reports and summaries for review by the Finance Committee and support the Finance Director with financial inquiries, documentation, and processing of accounts payable. Her educational background includes various accounting and management courses with education from the Cape Cod Community College and New England School of Banking. She holds an AIB Bank Financial Management Diploma and has attended numerous seminars and training sessions related to municipal finance and technology. She is a member of the Government Finance Officers Association, both national and local, and the Maine Local Government Human Resource Association. She's proficient with most of the town's software, as well as expertise with various financial and accounting software, including Tyler Technology, Enterprise Suite, or also known as Munis, or Trio local government software, which we use here in the town. We are confident that Ms. Fitzpatrick's extensive experience and expertise will be invaluable to our team. Please join us in welcoming her to the Town of Gray family. Debbie, if you do want to just come forward to say hi to the town council, if you'd like. No? If not, no big deal.
I appreciate very much the opportunity that you have afforded me, and I'm looking forward to helping out in the community in which I live. So this is this is a great fit, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you.
Oh, that's great.
Thank,
Yeah, it's
thank you,
Thank
Debbie.
you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah.
And then this is the completion, this hiring process finalizes our reorganized finance department that we built within this budget. So we now have a finance director, a staff accountant, and accounts payable payroll administrator. This move is part of our efforts to establish segregation of duties, thereby providing checks and balances as we continue to foster confidence in the financial management of the town.
Great.
That's all I had, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming tonight. It's nice to be able to put a face with the name.
Yeah.
Our next order of business is public comments on non-agenda items, which we limit to 3 minutes per person. The public is invited to address the council on any item of business that's not on tonight's agenda. All comments and questions during public comment or on an agenda item are limited to not more than 3 minutes. Any person who has already addressed the council during public comment on an agenda item or during a public hearing will be asked to wait until others have spoken before being recognized a second time. And additional comments, as always, are welcome at the second public comment period near the end of our agenda. Is there anyone here tonight who would like to speak on non-agenda items? Please come to the microphone. State your name and address for us.
My name is Joe Murray. I live at 213 Shaker Road, and I'm a trustee at the Gray Water District. My colleagues and I have been getting questions from people around town, and they're asking us about some things that they hear about the water district and if they're true or not. So I thought I'd like to try to address some of those items here tonight. One of the rumors in town is the water district does not have enough water to serve the town or the growth of this town. The fact is, there's plenty of water. There's so much water that it bubbles up out of the ground 24/7, forms a little pond, and overruns down into Colley Brook, not Colley Brook, but Labrie Brook. During the severe droughts a few years ago, we had, when people's private wells were running dry, the level in district wells only dropped a few inches. That was in spite of a widespread drought and added use for irrigation and by the people whose wells had run dry. Those wells are 100 feet deep and there's 60 feet of water in them. And given the size of the aquifer, that's a lot of water. They also ask us, if you have plenty of water, why are you looking for more? Well, that's what we do. It's in our DNA. But other than that, in this case, we're not searching for more water, we're searching for different water. We want water in a different aquifer to back up what we have. Should anything happen to our wells, we really would need backup for that. We search for that constantly. The good news in that is there is grant money available if we can identify a source. We can use some grant money, get some grant money to develop that source. There's another rumor that the infrastructure is in bad shape. It's an old system to be sure, but this is what you do have. You have a new tank on Weeks Hill. You have a refurbished tank in Dry Mills. It's good for another 50 years. There's also district-owned land on Libby Hill that will become a third facility in the future. McKinn Settlement ran a new line on 115 all the way to the North Yarmouth line. Route 100 South has a new line to its terminus near the Busy Bee Cabins. A $1.4 million grant was just used to replace the line underneath the turnpike and all of West Gray Road. The Lewiston Road is new to the Legion Hall, and the district is actively chasing grants for the rest of Lewiston Road and all of Shaker Road. Now, there are weaknesses in the system, you bet. It's been through 100 years of changes in materials, installation practices, development of the town, and any number of other impacts. There's new surprise in that system almost every day. There's a third rumor that we'll be connecting to Portland Water in the near future, and the district will be no more. Certainly possible. Smarter people than me will be making that decision. It could prove, however, to be expensive. The PUC governs all water districts, and they have a rule that says service cannot be extended at the expense of current ratepayers. It must be paid for by those who benefit from the extension. It's this rule that makes it difficult for the district to extend services when we are requested. most homeowners and developers are unable or unwilling to absorb or pass on the added cost. The current cost of putting pipe in the ground averages $350 a lineal foot. And that's if you don't run into a stream crossing or ledge or anything else that makes it more expensive. That works out to about $1.85 million a mile, and somebody has to pay for it. The danger in these rumors is that they can lead the public in general, and more importantly, this group, to believe that protecting the water source is not that important. Nothing could be further from the truth. Gray is blessed with an abundant source of pure spring water that would be the envy of any town. Provides drinking water for thousands of residents and visitors, and is the lifeblood of most of Gray's businesses. There is no alternative, none. Not treatment, not developing more sources, not tying into another district. None of those things is less expensive or more cost effective than protecting the source that you already have. Council has a long history of protecting this gem with well-researched and professionally developed zoning and ordinances. We can only hope and pray that this council will continue that legacy. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your kind attention.
Thanks very
Thanks,
much.
Joe.
I think too, if I'm not mistaken, the National Weather Service, the Gray Water District provided a line there, is that right?
I'm sorry?
The Gray Water District provided water to the National Water Service up in Pineland?
No, National Weather Service?
National Weather Service, sorry.
No, we
No?
weren't able to. We looked into that.
Oh, but in the end, it didn't
And
happen.
the cost there again, the cost to tie that all
Oh,
in.
can you come to, sorry, can you come to the mic?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And the cost to tie that all in was in the multi-millions.
Yeah, it was
And
prohibitive in the
They
end.
they actually tried to do that, but they couldn't get it funded.
Yeah,
Couldn't get it funded.
all right. Well, thank you for correcting that
There is-
misunderstanding too.
There has been we've been approached by Pineland, and they think they might like to have us take over the facility they have there.
Yeah,
So that's in the early discussion phases. Right now, North Yarmouth runs the program for them. And if that were to come to pass, it would not be a Pineland decision to take care of NOAA, but it would be our decision at that
Yeah.
point.
very good.
And we would do it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
My name is Pam Edson, and I live at 95 Yarmouth Road. I watched the last council meeting from my home in December, and I think it was the one where you had the executive session before and after. And actually, there were two things that I wanted to mention tonight. The first thing that I noticed while I was watching the meeting was that Mr. Robinson's nameplate says interim town councilor, and I was just wondering why that is. I mean, when you stand before the council, you get sworn in to become a town councilor, and I was just wondering what the methodology was to add that one piece of verbiage.
Okay?
Well, it just seems a little bit rude, or almost to make him feel different or somehow less. I mean, I've never seen that, and in all of the years that I've been here, and we've had people, I mean, Ann, this was you like a year and a half ago, and Krista, you're doing a remaining of a term yourself
But
right now.
I was elected, though.
Yeah, but you're still finishing out a remaining one-year term. So anyway, I would like to see maybe his nameplate changed, so he can be like the rest of you. My other concern was that, Dan, you had a conversation, I don't know if it was kind of prior to the meeting starting, about executive session and possibly starting the meetings earlier than the 7 o'clock if you had executive session prior to council meeting, and you all seemed to be in agreement to that, it seemed at the time. I was just a little concerned about that, because I've been feeling like you finally have some people coming out to town council meetings, and I'm trying to imagine how that would work for us. I mean, are we supposed to like sit out in the parking lot and watch for the light to go on in here? Or, I don't know, I mean, I know that the state has rules about public notice for a certain date, certain time, for meetings to begin, and I don't know, it just seems like a disservice to the people to not be able to have a time that we can show up and then we know to show up. Anyway, those are my thoughts tonight. And I was just wondering, actually talking about executive sessions. I mean, it seems like we're having a lot. Are we like, actually Justine's here tonight. I was wondering, are we like on our legal fees? Are we within our budget? Are we doing? I mean, is
We're
that
not
something-
answering
You
questions right
can't
now,
answer
Pam,
questions
no.
like that? Well, I would be interested to know that, actually, is out of curiosity.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Is there anyone else here tonight who'd like to speak? All right, seeing no one and no one online, we'll move on to our next order of business, which would be unfinished business, of which we have none. And under new business, we have two pieces of new business. Resolve 2425-19, appointing Christy Lamoureux to the library trustees. Be it resolved that the Greytown Council hereby appoints Christy Lamoureux as a regular member of the library trustees with a term expiring on August 31st, 2027. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved Krista, seconded Levi. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to thank Christy for her long service on the library trustees, and just really welcome her continued participation.
Yeah,
Same.
Christy is for those that might not know, is also a librarian for the school system and has served 2 terms actually as library trustee. And I think it's a great synergy to have that connection with the schools too, because the school libraries are another resource for the kids in this town. So I would certainly appreciate her signing up for another 3-year term. All right, any more discussion? We'll go to roll. Ann?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Thank you very much, Christy. Our next order of business is Resolve 2425-20, appointing Jen Dupree to the Dry Mills Schoolhouse Committee. Be it resolved that the Greytown Council hereby appoints Jen Dupree as the regular member of the Dry Mills Schoolhouse Committee with a term expiring August 31st, 2027. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved Ann,
Second.
second Krista. Is there any discussion?
Again, just really thanking
Yeah.
Jen for 10 years on the Dimeville
Yes,
Schoolhouse
yeah,
Committee. Wow,
absolutely.
impressive.
And you think of all the work that's gone into that, to try and preserve that for folks in town. So I do really appreciate Jen's effort on behalf of the town. Any other thoughts or discussions? Seeing none, we'll go to roll. Levi?
Yes.
Krista?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
And I'm also a yes. Thank you very much, Jen. Our next order of business on what is our very light agenda this evening is public comment again. I don't know if there's any additional public comments. We have no new referrals. We currently have 5 referrals on the council's list: the comprehensive plan rezoning, creating a water quality ordinance, which is regards to the shoreland, pop-up business ordinance, update to public safety ordinance, and of course the village transformation project, which I think we'll see on the agenda for years to come. We have no executive session tonight and no other business, so this might be the shortest meeting that we've had since I've been on the council. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So
So moved.
Second.
Second, any objection to unanimous consent? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Good night, everyone.